Hey folks, Mark again. I feel it's an important time to try to answer the question, what does it mean to be ungodly? TheRump likes to make it cool to refer to others as losers, refer to prisoners of war as losers, refer to his own son as a loser, laugh at kids being labeled losers, and yet he is himself a loser at business. It's sad that given this focus on losing, his supporters can't seem to see that that's exactly what he thinks of them. He laughs at the sick, he mocks the disabled, he shames the poor, he assaults women, and more. Here are the top 3 patriotic arguments that ought to ensure TheRump loses in 2020. Against all reason, it's not about his assault on the earth. Talking about environmental protection is as sexy as talking to your lover about protection. It's the economy that drives people to action. So here are the 3. Cronyism. 91 companies paid 0 in 2018 taxes, and they still don't insure workers a living wage. Under TheRump, corporations are mistaken as people, and collective wealth of billionaires went up 21 trillion, while wealth of the bottom 50% of us went down 900 billion. Then the Paycheck Protection Program funneled taxpayer money into the accounts of 400 country clubs and businesses tied to congresspersons, while 90% of small businesses got 0. The solution, by the way, is Elizabeth Warren's Anti-Corruption Act. Number 2, Black Death. Folks, we are the shithole country ruining global herd immunity. And TheRump's villainous inaction is to blame for 100,000 deaths and counting. Plus those who believed his quack cures, like disinfectants and hydroxychloroquine. He knew the cause was his gutting of our pandemic preparedness, and yet he tried to spin the story while people were dying. He sends supplies to states only when they treat him well, yet sends supplies to his comrades in Russia. Many are losing life, and it makes us all losers. And third, democracy in peril. For TheRump's first illegal act, we have to go back to 2017, when he decided to name his own Consumer Financial Protection Bureau director, which was against the law. A few weeks later, a second FBI official investigating him for Russian collusion non-voluntarily resigned. Not 1, but 2. A few months later, a Republican-led Senate blocked witnesses set to testify against him in the Ukraine investigation. More recently, we see misuses of posse comitatus, the Insurrection Act, tear gassing of citizens by this supposed law and order president, proving that there is no bottom to how low he will go or how low we will let him. Sadly, he oversees the Federal Election Commission, meant to protect us from gerrymandering, disenfranchisement, and election hacking that keeps us a democracy, even if a flawed one. Worshipping this ungodly animal defaces our nation. Like the Wizard of Oz, he presents a false face, and through fear forces us to ignore his lies and his acts of oppression. It's a trick he learned from the church. Our current confusion over Christianity is due to the church creating a legacy of actions that defy the teachings of Jesus. This is how a person like me can be anti-Christian, and yet somebody completely opposite like Trump can be anti-Christ. The distinction is over whether we worship the church's teachings or whether we emulate Jesus's teachings. It's over whether we operate through judgment and fear of punishment, or whether we live through the principles of love and restorative justice for the errors that we all make as humans. A higher power that punishes cannot also be all-knowing or all-wise. The literal interpretation of hell as a horrid place for God to send people to punish them for eternity. It was initially developed as a figurative term to describe the primitive state that humanity can go into when they forget to live with love and forget to be cooperative with their fellow beings. And that's what we're in. We're in hell. But everything will be okay if enough of us do something to make it so.